This is a building from Hundertwasser in Magdeburg. It's a building, but also an image of an imaginary world, of a magical world. And that's what I miss in our present days. Since a few hundred years we are enlightened, but we really mean we are rational. We deny the metaphysical, we deny the other world. And the artist, like Hundertwasser, brings us back to that magical realm, to that space where the imagination rules. That's what I fear is what we have lost in our modern world. The imagination about the inner world, the other world, the intangible world. Everything these days needs to be proven and scientific and rational. But is it? Or is there another world that only art now brings us? In the old days there was religion, where religion gave us a link to the other world, to the unseen, the intangible. But today, a building like this makes me wonder, have we lost something? And is the artist really the only one that can bring us that feeling of connectedness to the magic? Childbirth. These days, many children are born by a cesarean. Of course, sometimes it is necessary for medical reasons, but it seems to be a very fashionable thing. I don't think it's very good. And why is that? Well, imagine when a baby is born. What is the first thing that the baby experiences? What sense is new? In the womb we know that babies can see a little light, they can hear and they can feel, but they cannot smell. So when the baby is born and with his first breath, the first air that comes into the baby, the first sign that there's an outside world, the first sense is smell. It's a new sense, it's a new experience. Now I believe that at the moment of birth, if a baby is born naturally, that at that moment, if the mother is in a good mood, there's a lot of pheromones, a lot of smell, a lot of smell connection. So the first impression a child has when being born in a normal way is the smell of the mother. And if the mother feels good, there's a lot of pheromones. Also sexual pheromones. And I think that is very important. If a child is born in an environment where there is the sense of belonging, the sense of connection, let's call it the sense of sex, then for the rest of its life it will have this imprint. I think actually that the moment of birth and the first breath decides how a person in the rest of his life experiences sex. Now, if you're born with a cesarean, there is no such thing. You come out of it, the mother is usually not there. She is using some kind of anesthetic, and she will not have the nearly orgastic experience that a childbirth could be. So, I fear that whole generations of people born with a cesarean will have a limited sex life because of not being born in a pheromone environment from the mother in a natural way. Gold. Gold over the city. High buildings where there are statues, these days are gilded again. Now, technically that's a very wise thing, because gold is the non-corrosive, it stays better, you don't have to do any maintenance. Gold is a very expensive but technically a very good material. But there is another reason why there is gold over the city, and that is because gold has a function in thought waves, brain waves. And when you have statues like this over a city here in Berlin, we can see that it keeps the thought energy, the brain waves in the city. It helps to make a city more magical. Cities that have a lot of gold statues very high, are in a way protected from the brain waves from outside. And therefore, cities with lots of gold are magical cities, like Berlin. Churches, big buildings. The cities are full of it. In the old days, religions had their temples, churches, and they were sometimes very impressive. They radiated some kind of energy, and of course, in those days, the church was very important. These days, we have, I believe, a new kind of religion, and that is a religion that circles around information. Now, we don't see it as a religion, but we have our home altars, which we call home PCs. We carry our personal sacred